What's happening, Coach?
Hey, not much. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Looks like you lost some weight there on your head.
At least 1.5 pounds of hair with a haircut yesterday.
That's pretty cool, man.
No
You look
more
good.
rag. Well, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, no more Carlson.
No ponytail. It was close.
No. Hey, you and I, we kind of threw together a show today. We really weren't going to do a normal show. I don't think we were just going to chat about some bowling, and then you had a great idea about adding Nick Summer, a local Rockfordian, who has gone away to college to Wichita. And then I got this idea in my head before we talked anymore, and I was like, hey, well, we know we have a couple other kids, and I know that there's plenty of other college people, especially with like the Rock Valley, that could be on. But we went with a couple of kids that joined the centers to help the pro shop out and kind of are involved with the center aspect of it too, on top of college. We'll have Brandon Mooney and Hunter Loveridge, who are at Whitewater, and they'll be joining also. And we're going to add them in here, Coach, here shortly. Do you have anything that you'd like to add before we do?
I'm just really happy that we've got such a great group of kids here in Rockford. Tremendous program. The middle school, they're outstanding high school bowlers. Brandon and Nick went to a very successful Huntington High. They've won some state championships. So it's going to be really cool to see these young guys. And if there's any young guys watching us, maybe they get a little insight as to how their college careers started and how they're going.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so I'm going to start adding the guys in one at a time here. Looks like Nick's up first. Then I'll start adding Brandon in. I don't think we've ever had 5 people on the show, but here it is.
Oh, you did a good job. First time.
What's up, boys?
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Didn't realize you were still on mute for some reason there, Nick.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There you go.
Sweet. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Staying alive during this fall craziness?
Trying to.
Yeah.
So, AJ, I'll go ahead and throw something. Nick, so I just kind of keep up track here. I've been talking to all of you. I know you've been pretty busy with your dad putting you out there remodeling the bowling center at Carter. What you been doing besides that? Anything?
Yeah, just I mean, pretty similar to I think a lot of other people would be doing at the time. Just going through your daily, I guess, routine. I'm trying to make it less routine, doing stuff I would try not to get caught in that lazy kind of period, because it's probably pretty easy to get in that I don't have to do anything kind of thing. But me and my teammates are looking forward to this next season, so we're just doing what we can to get better and hopefully get back on the lanes as soon as possible. I know a lot of my teammates have access to like their states are opening back up a little bit sooner than the Illinois is at the moment, so we're all just doing what we can, taking the punches as they come.
Yeah, I know that you guys have been really wanting to get out on the lanes, and Illinois, like I said, been one of the last states, but we're going to get there. I think we're going to get there closer to the end of the month. Brandon, what you been up to?
So that kind of same that Nick did the first couple of weeks were a little slow, just trying to not get into that bad routine. But I did finding a couple of tournaments in St. Louis this past weekend. So once I found out that the Wisconsin stuff opened up, I was fortunate to go up there and get some practices in. I was actually able to compete this past weekend. So something a little bit different than the rest of us been doing. But I made the 5-hour drive. Figured, I was throwing it really good for the breakdown, the shutdown. So got back into it with Wisconsin open up, and I was actually able to compete this weekend. So that was pretty cool.
Very cool. In a little bit, we'll let you highlight how your tournament went, because it was really very cool. Some of the matches you had, some of the players that you had to beat.
Yeah,
which is really very, very cool.
Yeah,
and I think Dad was saying you needed to drill about 6 more balls. You always drilling bowling balls all the time. So
I do drill a lot of bowling balls. That might be one of my biggest problems.
I don't think drill enough.
Yeah, he was telling me. Dad and I played golf a couple of nights ago, and he was telling me your rack at home with all your balls is like a lot.
Yeah, there might be a few down there, or a lot of a few.
I've done a few.
All right.
Had to-
We got Mr. Hunter here. How you been doing, man? What you been up to?
I've been looking into some internships. The one that I had set up for next semester got canceled because of the COVID-19, so I've had to find other alternatives. Still looking into that, studying for the MCAT because being they allow it, I will take that this summer.
So
Okay.
everybody, what's everybody's what is everybody going for their degree? I mean, I know Hunter, we can get to you last with this one, but what's everybody going to school for?
I'm a marketing major with a business analytics minor at the moment.
Okay.
I'm a physical education, and I'll have licensures in health education and special education too.
Nice. Okay,
Biology.
Hunter, you can do with what you're doing.
But,
It's okay.
I'm biology with an emphasis in pre-med.
So you're just making us
So-
look stupid.
Right?
It's a rough path. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, school's pretty strenuous for anything, no matter what you go to for. But I've always heard the horror stories for like going to try and be a doctor.
Mhm.
The amount of times that how much you have to go to school for, how long you have to go to school for.
Yeah,
Is
how
it
do you
distance
bowl?
coming up stuff that was pretty tough?
You can ask Mooney. I lived with him for my first 2 years there. He always saw me sitting on my laptop doing whatever homework I had to do, going and studying and whatnot. If I wasn't bowling, I was studying of some sort.
They're bowling, eating, or studying kind of seem like
Yeah.
not much of anything else after that.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine, man.
College
Yeah,
life.
there's times I'd come into the shop after he'd been working, and the keyboard was like jammed up against the computer. You could tell that he had his books out doing his stuff for school in between like customers, and I'm like, man, rough life, man. It sucks.
If we're slow, I'm gonna take every minute I can get.
It's good though. Well, cool. Hey, Coach, you want to lead in with the questions we were going to ask?
Yeah, since I was talking about this morning, appreciate you guys coming in. And Nick, we had you first. I had the idea we needed a guest, and so I'm going to throw some out at you. I know you've been around a long time in Rockford as a youth bowler. I think you started bowling when you were inside your mother before you popped out. About how long you've been bowling? But when did you get started, Nick? When was your getting started, and how old were you, and all your history of the game?
So, for those of you who don't know, like I'm blessed to have our family business. We run a couple of bowling centers in the greater Rockford area, and that was always kind of like a part of my life. As you mentioned before, it was definitely at a very, very young age. My mom and dad had me in the bowling center like before I was able to walk, so it was kind of always like a big part of my life. So, but I'd say competitively, I probably got started a little behind the curve with some other people that I know and like are really good friends with now in college and stuff. But I'd say around that 8 to 10 mark was when I really started getting like competitive with it. And before that, it was just kind of like I was in the bowling center. I was with my dad, having fun, being a kid. And then my dad kept me at it, and I kept getting a little bit better here and there. And I thought it was fun at the time, and I still do now. But but that was when I started getting competitive. Was around that like 8 to 10 range.
Right. Very, very cool.
So, same question to you guys. When did you guys get started? And Brandon, why don't you go ahead and lead off, and then Hunter can follow you after you're done.
Kind of like Nick, I have very memories of like I'd be at the bowling center. My parents, they bowl league when they were younger, and then I would wait until they were done so I could just bowl after they were done. I think my parents said I got bowling around like 2, and they threw me in leagues as early as I was allowed to because I really wanted to get into it. I want to say like 4 or 5 when I actually started like bowling bumper bowling leagues and stuff like that. So I started very young as well, and then I'm not sure exactly, they kind of, like I said, I was jumping into leagues pretty quick, and then as the tournaments kind of popped up, I guess around like the age 7 or 8, that's when I kind of started doing that too. So, but I started very young.
Nice. How about you,
Great.
Hunter?
I was definitely behind all of you guys. I didn't really start till middle school, till 6th grade. That was when I joined the middle school team. We would only go like once or twice a year. My family before then, never thought much of it. But then I saw the flyer at school one day, and I decided, why not? I need to do something, So
Yeah.
I wouldn't
So
even
we
say
have-
I didn't even really start taking that serious until like eighth grade freshman year. So
Yeah. I remember seeing you come in the shop the first time. It was kind of a interesting encounter, the fact that you were two-handed. So that was one of the few first things that I think I had seen up and close and personal being a two-hander. And then I think at that time we were giving deals out for like free drilling or something to get people to come in the shop. Yeah. So known you for a while. The boys, like when you're all three, real quick, if you guys can think of a moment that maybe clicked 100% on the idea of bowling, what was it?
Go ahead, Nick.
Nick, you can answer.
I would say that moment of my interpretation of that being like getting hooked on it was, I mean, it was just the obsession with getting better. I mean, I'd say that all three of us are really competitive at, I mean, even if it's not even bowling, like anything that I find myself doing, sometimes get a little bit too competitive, but I think that fire to like just get better, and like bowling's one of those sports where it's really a battle against yourself, like in the bare bones of things, like how your coaches and players and other mentors say like it's you against the pins, which is true. I mean, even though we do have a competitor when we do competitive bowling, but I guess it was that internal like wanting to get better. And that's why I kind of mentioned that like 8 to 10 range before, is because at that time I was really starting to like get competitive, because before then it was more of a social thing for me. Like Brandon saying, the bumper bowling, the bantam preps, just getting my friends together from my school, and it was a way for us to have fun as a group of friends. And then as I started to develop in the sport, it was just kind of like a domino effect of wanting to just get that much better every day. So that's probably it wasn't like a specific day or specific month of a turning point, but definitely that thinking process was probably the reason why I decided to get better.
Nice.
Yeah, I know how competitive you guys are in Rockford with all the other guys and the high school teams. It's just a great environment over there to want to get burning. Yeah, how about you, Brandon?
Yeah, kind of like just the idea of competition, I guess. And obviously my dad bowled too, like he was really into it, and my mom used to bowl too. So I don't know, maybe it's just like kind of a thing to do with the parents, and then as you get into it and you see how like competition is and how nice it was winning like scholarship money for the smart accounts and stuff like that. I think just the idea of competition is what really kind of made me want to keep going on it and commit to it. And I did play baseball growing up too. It's the same thing. I started that one at a young age too. I think, as Nick said too, I'm just a very competitive person. I like playing sports, but I think just what made me focus on bowling, I think it was more like my parents did it, and as they got me into it, it's just something I found I enjoyed, and the idea of being able to compete in something else that I enjoyed doing has really got me hooked on it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. Great. All right, you're the guy, Hunter.
all right, I'd say it was around 8th grade, and I was still bowling one-handed then. They bowled one-handed from 6th all the way to like halfway
Yikes.
between my 8th grade year, and then I was at practice one day just messing around, and I threw it two-handed, got 4 strikes in a row, and I was like, wow, that's a lot more fun than one-handed. I'm gonna keep doing that. And
That's it. It's all up. It's all
Yeah.
over.
I think we took first that year. We either took first or second that year at RISA, and that was what really got me going for all that. So.
Yeah, I know whenever we spent some time on the lanes, and I kind of remember that transition and seeing you get to the foul line with 2 hands. And you've done a lot of good stuff to get this game really in tune. You've done such a tremendous job. You put in a ton of hours. I know all of you have been on the lane so much, but I can tell you, AJ, I had to go in the bowling center. These guys, of course, they live in the bowling center. And Hunter,
Oh, yeah.
you were really in the center a lot for a summer. I remember that.
That's countless hours. Yeah.
I don't think there was a day that I never saw you. Whenever I was working, you'd always come in. So,
It was
like one of
definitely
those-
definitely 6
out.
days a week, 2 hours a day for sure.
yeah,
Right.
you guys probably do the same thing though. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of a testament to like specifically Hunter, like that later starting time of you said 8th grade was like the competitive kind of start.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so much like just rapid fire learning everything. And
Yeah.
I imagine that you had all your coaches and probably you were on YouTube a lot as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Watching
was-
Rumble videos.
Hey, that was right about the emergence. You know, Elmo was getting really big and everything, and then it's like, you know, he's throwing it really good. I want to throw it like that. And
mhm. Yeah, it's just crazy the rapid progression. Because I remember seeing you. I remember bowling against you or seeing you bowl, and then like the before and after video is unreal.
Coach still likes to show me the video when I did my first lesson with him, and I was like, I really couldn't believe I threw it like that back then.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I still got it on my pad here. Hold on a minute. I'll.
Oh no.
Yeah, you've done it. Well, that's great. I knew, Brandon, you were a baseball player, very competitive, and I saw. It's funny because I see pictures of you guys back when you were in middle school. You're little bitty young guys, and you always had that foursome together, and your teammates and Brett and all you guys. And now I look at you, your college bowlers. It's like, oh my gosh, just like yesterday. I saw you were young guys. You're still young, but you were really young back then.
Yeah.
So, you want to go in? Still going with Nick? AJ, ask him another question.
Yeah, keep going, man.
Yeah, Nick, I'm going to lead off again with you. I know in Rockford it's such a big deal for youth bowling and Saturday morning. Well, what blew me away here in Rockford was you have organized middle school bowling, right? Bowling in middle school, which is something that you don't see a whole lot of. A lot of places around the country do, but Rockford's really got a lot. Tell us a little bit about your middle school and how you advanced into your high school years.
So I guess before I get into my middle school and then high school, I guess I'd a testament to what we do at Art Centers and like for the middle school program. I haven't really seen another place to where they fill 42 lanes up with middle school bowlers.
40 lanes.
Yeah,
Multiple centers too.
yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it's not one person either. Like it'd be just a lie to say it's like one person doing this. Like said before, we have such an awesome bowling family in Rockford, and everyone's so passionate about the youth and just getting it because everyone knows like we got to keep the youth coming. They're the future. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, it's 100% true. I mean, there's so many people that work tirelessly to just recruit these kids to just have them have one day on the lanes because they know that's all it would take for them to get hooked on something. And if they don't like it, it's fine. Some bowling's not meant for everyone. It's just like baseball, football, basketball is not meant for everyone. But if you just get that one middle schooler, that one elementary school bowler on the lanes for one day, and they like it, and they come back another day, then it just keeps going, and then they tell their friends tell their friends. It's just this spider web effect of getting these kids out here, and then they see each other. They're getting more competitive with each other. I don't know. It's incredible, and I guess specifically I kind of followed down that same path in middle school. I was part of the middle school program. I was up for Roscoe Middle School, about 25 minutes north of Rockford, and we had a really big middle school program too, and we still do today, and that translated into high school. I think my senior year of high school, we had we had over 40 people, over 50 people on our high school bowling team. And I think at one point we had like 6 JV teams, which was pretty massive.
Yeah.
Brandon can attest to that number. But
I remember your high school picture, last year's high school picture. It looked like a football team out there on the lanes.
Oh yeah, like most people's bowling team pictures that they show me are like maybe a full team, 5 to 8 people, and then I show them mine. They're like, "You're joking, right?" And I'm like, "No, this is our high school team."
Yeah,
That was like Hunter's.
Yeah.
Hunter's was pretty small, wasn't it?
Yeah.
High school.
And we definitely had more than 8. We were probably somewhere around like 15 or so. You know,
That's good.
compared to yours, it's still tiny.
Yeah.
No, but overall, like nationwide, you're in the 5%, like the bigger ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah, high school
Right.
bowling just became in Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm originally from. So that's kind of cool. They actually started making it an actual big thing finally, which is cool.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Yeah, it's neat to see
Yeah,
how
I
cool it's
remember. Yeah, I know, Nick, your dad's the coach of your team for Honolulu, and Brandon, you're on that team too. And I remember we were talking the other day about tryouts. And you guys go back to whenever you had high school tryouts. Your dad was like running around a track, football field,
Some
much as you
people
can
call
go,
Yeah.
depending on how many of you pass out, start throwing up, but doing push-ups and planks. And a lot of these young guys are going to go, I want to go out on the bowling team, but I don't want to have to run. No, that's the wrong thing for Honolulu.
Yeah, some people call my my father's methods unconventional, but I just call them effective.
Right.
I think it's kind of a love-hate thing for some people. There's not a whole middle ground when it comes to the perception of my dad's coaching style along with the other assistant coaches, because he probably has a little bit of influence on the other ones. But we did some pretty unconventional stuff during high school, just keeping it fun. I know that sometimes like a sport can get really repetitive. Like if we were to come to the lanes and do the same thing over and over again, there's no like challenge or I guess just fun to that. And so he always figured out a way for us to be involved and have people that maybe weren't, because for people that were like really competitive in the sport or any sport, it's easier for them to keep involved with and figure out a way to challenge themselves. But for these new kids,
Oh, yeah. You know, Brandon, you were a part of that team too, and you're kind of the legacy. And you can reiterate too, and I know Nick, of course, knows you were in the Honolulu. Give us a little, I know it's going to get off topic, but a little recap of your guys' success in the regionals, the sectionals, and state a little bit, because it's a pretty amazing record.
Yeah,
Brandon, you update us on that. You know it all.
we had a good run. I didn't have Brad as my coach my freshman year. I did Cliff, but I was able to go to state that year and finish 6th. And then the next year, that's when Brad took over, and we won that year, and then took 2nd the next 2 years. So pretty good run. I think we had a good group of guys. Me and my dad still talk about of how well we got along. I think that was honestly our best talent right there. We did have talented guys. Like I had my success, Nick had success, everybody else had their own. But I think what made us good as a team was we got along, and it like we truly had a family bond. And I still talk to a lot of the guys now, even though we graduated 3, 4, 5 years ago. I think that's what really made that group special was we actually cared for the team. Obviously we all wanted to bowl good, but it seemed like we were okay with sitting the bench if somebody else had a good look. And you just don't find that in many teams. You don't even find that many teams in college, really, even the top 10 ranked teams in the country, So I think that's what made that team really special was that we all won. We all had the same goal, and anything we did individually was just extra. It wasn't the main goal. So if we happened to make medal at a tournament or make all state or whatever it was just, cherries on top kind of a thing. The ultimate goal was to do the best we could for the team.
Absolutely. And there's one little note here too. You're all about team, but Nick, you won state as singles 1 year, didn't you?
Yeah, that was my senior year. But that's actually a really funny story that state title. Because like the lesson that I remember the most that from the coaches and my dad being the coach was and he said this in middle school too when it was the same core group of bowlers that we had in my senior year. And he said if you were bobbing for apples and it was a whole bucket full of red apples, if you got a red apple, it was a team championship. But there was one golden apple, and that golden apple was a singles championship. And he said it's a lot easier to grab a red apple than it is to get a golden apple. And sometimes you'd go out of your way to get that golden apple. So he said that if everyone just got a red apple, it'd be a lot easier to just come together as a team. And I'm probably butchering it, but Um,
That's okay.
Sounds
Yeah.
pretty good.
that was kind of like how we stayed to get like that, just that simple thing. And we never really cared about the individual part. Like I had no idea like that we were like that I was leading. I just knew that my teammate was in front of me, and if that the goal was for him to throw a strike, and the goal was for me to support him if he didn't, and then try to follow that up with more physical high fives, smiles, and do it all over again. So
And
Yeah.
I don't. You told me. I don't even know if you remember. Did you know you were up for state in that final frame that you had a shot at it? I don't know if you remember you had a shot at it.
no, and when I finished, I felt pretty bad because I went over to the second place finisher and I actually congratulated him for winning.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I thought I lost by a couple, and then I really felt bad when I went over there and like I was stunned because the emotion that I had wasn't because of me wanting to win. It was just because it was that my last shot of high school bowling, and there was also like some of the best 4 years of my life. People that I met, connections I made. I don't know. Those people I'm gonna see till the day I die. So it was kind of like a bottle up explosion of all that emotion. Of that was my last shot ever in high school.
Yeah, I heard about it. You know, Hunter, you're the same way. Whenever you throw that last shot in high school, it's pretty emotional, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So I never went to state in high school. My team made it to sectionals once as a team,
I remember.
which was my freshman year, and that was we physically were a good team, but it was a lot of people that just wanted to bowl. You know, not as
Yeah.
supportive as they could have been. You know,
Mhm.
just I want to be in throwing the shots and whatnot. And I made it to sectionals the 3 years following as an individual, but I could never quite make it out of there. My senior year, I shot 520 for the first three, and then I like 740 for the back three. Like, you know, first three
Nice.
wouldn't have felt bad. I definitely would have been there, but yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like some bowling that we've all seen before, though.
Oh, yeah.
Go back for a set and then find a set that you're like, "Ooh, I crushed it." Nice.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
definitely beat you on the low set there. We had a sports shot tournament my sophomore year, and I think I shot like 430.
Oh.
That might have been the elbow.
Well, Brandon,
That might have been the elbow tournament, Hunter.
Oh, God.
They want to know a fun fact. Hunter and I were not very good friends in high school, and now
No,
we're
not at all.
But that's just a fun fact for everybody out there.
Look at you
I
now.
never knew that. Wow.
well, Han
That's-
as a whole versus Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter didn't like it very much.
Wow. I would have never figured that out. Yeah, Hunter, you were your high school and they were there. They were the Hononegah guys. That's okay. You're all great friends now, so it's all in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
We did have a question come in from Thomas. What's your best and worst experience in bowling competitively? Each of you can kind of
Go
toss
ahead.
out your thoughts there. If you want to lead off, go to
Okay.
Brandon.
I'd say my best experience in bowling was figuring out that I wanted to bowl in college. I think even though that wasn't a experience as I think a lot of people would answer it like as an award or a honorable thing that they might have done, but I think it was my decision that I knew I wanted to do it at like a higher level was probably the best experience I felt at that time. But I guess for achievement, it was probably the state titles during my high school years, and then probably one of my best feelings was one of my first, like people would say like their first 300. I think that's definitely a competitive tipping point. Worst experience in bowling. Oh my gosh. I'd say my worst experience in bowling is probably, it's not a specific time, but I think it's like those times where you're putting in all the effort and then you don't see results. I think it's kind of a misleading thing for sure. It's kind of disappointing for sure to see yourself put in a bunch of effort and then sometimes not get the results that you're wanting. It's kind of unmotivating to get back on the lanes the next day and do it all over again. But I think once you get past those is when those best moments kind of do arise.
Yeah, I remember down at Carter, I was teaching on 41 and 2, and you might be 2 or 3 pair over, and you'd be working out, and I would watch you over there, and after a shot, your shoulders would go down, and you go back, sit down, and look at your phone, and sometimes I'd almost see you where you just didn't want to throw anymore, and you just kind of pack it up and go, and I was wondering what was going on, but yeah, I can relate to that too. But you came through.
Yeah.
All right, Brendan.
Kind of like the best team experiences I've had were winning state my sophomore year of high school, and then my sophomore year of college, we were club national champions. I was part of that roster. I got to bowl a lot. That was a pretty cool feeling. This one for individual, it's kind of my best and worst at the same time. I bowled holiday doubles last year with one of my good friends, Charlie Brown. Pretty cool guy. Made a TV show once on the tour. Throws it really well. The cut for the team was plus 465. And my by myself went 441 over. And poor Charlie was lost all day. Only went plus 10. We missed cut by 10 pins. So, and that, holiday doubles is full talent. You got Jacob Buttriff there. That you got pro guys there. It's a big tournament. A lot of money on top. We give Charlie crap about all the time. He apologized about 50 million times already. But so that one's kind of my best and worst in the same one. It was really cool bowling that good against all that talent there. But on the same side, it was pretty unfortunate not making the cut for how I bowled. But that's a change you take with team bowling. And then, as Nick said, there's always those days where those tournaments where you just feel lost. Like there isn't one specific tournament that's my worst, but we've all had those 4, 5, 6 tournaments where you don't feel like no matter what ball you throw, what move you make, you're just absolutely lost. You're gonna average 150. It kind of just seems like you still match up to the pattern. You don't match up to whatever you're bowling on. I've had my fair share of those too. So
Right.
Bowling so many. There's so many good ones. Like the ones that stick out are having success against some of the bigger guys and having the team success I've had with my high school and college. And then we all have those bad tournaments that you kind of want to forget about too, but they do. You have to learn from them as well. So I've had fair share of those tournaments as well.
Well, I'm sure you're a great doubles partner, and you like I said, you apologize to him. It's just another bad day.
Yep,
Another bad day.
It's one of my favorite stories to tell because I was not mad at Charlie. The difference with that is he didn't give up. It's just we just talked about. It was one of those days where he just didn't match up. So it's not like he just stopped trying. And we talk about it all the time. He apologized about 50 million times. I'm sticking with him again for it. But it's a funny story to tell. We both have a good laugh out of it way after now. He wasn't laughing that day, but now if 3 or 4 months later, it's a good story to tell with him.
Cool. Hey, Hunter.
Oh, so I would say my best experience as, just for bowling in general is when we went out east my freshman year of college to Pennsylvania to bowl 2 tier 1s. And we took first in the first one that we took part in out there. I didn't bowl a single game out there and for that tournament. But then we went and had the practice session right before the next tournament. We worked on a couple things, trying to fix some stuff up. And then we went and bowled the second tier 1, and I went plus 73 with a horrible last game. My last game was absolutely terrible, but I still went plus 73. We ended up taking third at that tournament. Individually, I'd say probably making the first place ATT at, I believe it was Conference 3 my freshman year.
Yeah.
Mooney should remember that very, very well. Someone gutted on one of his fill shots, and I beat him by 8 pins for the whole tournament.
Oh my gosh.
Oopsie.
Yeah, definitely.
Team bowling.
Thanks, Nick DeSestro.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Had nothing to do with the 5-7 pins I missed that block. It was because he gutted on my fill.
Yeah. I think I had like a 15% spare percentage, so that tournament.
I almost breaks
Wow.
with Dole's 290 foul last shot.
Yep.
My worst experience, I'd probably say my whole entire sophomore year. That was a rough time my sophomore year. Mooney knows, AJ knows. I'm pretty sure I talked to Coach about it a little bit too. I was lost my whole entire sophomore year.
Reflection of life
with
season.
bowling. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think everybody goes through those down periods, though, as far as not feeling great. We talked about that on one or two of the shows before, how it's super easy to get to a point where you're like, man, I don't want to really do this. Like, I'm really sucking. The coach wants me to do this, or they wanted me to get to this point, and I can't quite get there, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. And then you're just like, I really don't want to do this. At some point, you're just like, I've done this too much, and I need a break, or what do I do to fix it? You know, or how do I fix it? I'm tired of trying to fix it. All these.
Right. Yeah, and from a coaching standpoint, sometimes you give so much information, and then on your league night, you got so much going on in your head. You go, I don't know what I'm doing. I've just been talking all day about everybody else. So, but with you, AJ, and sometimes even my ball rep, and I never pay attention. I'm too stubborn. But it's pretty cool, guys. I want to lead into here. I know there's a very prestigious honor here, and I just want to lead it up to Nick. And working with you for so many years, and love you like a son. And whenever I heard this news, you got selected to the Dexter All-American team, that just blew me away.
Yeah, that was definitely a cool experience. I was a sophomore, which was really young for that award.
Right.
The award consists of a mixture of on the lane results and also in the classroom. They have I think, I'm not sure how many men and women it was on the team, but it was really cool. We get honored at Junior Gold Championships, the introduction celebration, and we were on a Major League Baseball field, which was really cool. Had some really cool guys out there speaking. Got a selfie with Belmo. That was kind of nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. But that was definitely I think everyone has that type of thing, of that verification to them of like, man, I think maybe I really do belong to like this sport. Maybe I really should keep going. And like whatever big or small that award is, or award game that they bowled. I mean, if you're younger and you have your first 200 game, I mean, that's kind of like that verification to yourself that I can do this, you know, like I belong to this group, and I want to keep going. So yeah, it was a cool award for sure. And I definitely cherish it. I have the award sitting in my bedroom. My mom likes to look at it. I think it's actually relocated to hers, because I'm become somewhat of a minimalist, and that was one of the first things to go. So she has it in her room.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tremendous honor. But by the way, all of you guys, just want to highlight too, that we've been talking about college bowling. You two on the bottom, you go to Whitewater, right?
Yep.
And Brandon, you made your decision a while back. You're going to graduate, right? You're a senior.
No, I got one more year still. Actually, I'll have one more year,
Right.
and then I also have another semester before I actually graduate school. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you've got another year to go.
Yep.
So Hunter, what made you decide to choose to go up there? I know you had some decisions, but what was your ultimate decision to go up there with Brandon?
I remember I was at I was at the Collegiate Expo 2 summers before I graduated high school, and I was just going around looking at all the schools and everything, that they had there, all the coaches and everything. And I talked to Leanne, which is a women's coach, and she gave me Sean's card, told me to get in contact with him and everything. And I went and looked at some other schools too. I looked at Robert Morris. I looked at Lindenwood University. Yeah, and I did campus visits to all of them, and when I went to Whitewater, I fell in love. And then I heard Mooney was going there, and I figured, why not? Someone will know going up there. It'll make things a little bit easier for me.
That's great, because Brandon, you made your choice too. What brought you up there? It's not very far from Rockford. So how far do you guys go to drive up that way?
hour tops. It's with me being in
Yeah.
Roscoe a little bit closer. It's only like 45 minutes for me, but like it takes me an hour to get to the pro shop. So that was one of the factors of being kind of close. You know, I can go home if needed. Sean recruited me hard. I will say I remember the countless. I would keep in touch with them, and I would let him know like who else I was talking to. He'll make the joke. It's okay. We already know you're coming to Whitewater. Kind of a joke thing, and I don't know. Sean was a huge impact. He's kind of your relationship with the coach is big. And honestly, me coming from Antigua, I had a really good relationship with Brad. You know, so I liked I think that's important too, having a good relationship with your coach. So you can already tell like Sean's the kind of person you can get along with. And then kind of same thing. Most important thing too is no matter how much you like the bowling aspect or the coach, you have to like the school. Like if I would have gone on a visit and hated the school, I can't say I would have gone there. A perfect example, I was also in talks with Judson University back when Fidel and Astrid were running the program. One of the best people I'll ever meet, really care. Kind of the same thing. I could have seen myself making a relationship with them. The bowling was good. I just didn't like the school much, and I didn't want to go 4 years to a school I wasn't going to be happy at. So the biggest turner was the school. I liked there a lot, and Sean's just a great person to bowl for, and we've had a good 3 years, and we've never ever had any problems, and the school and the relationship with my coach is what really brought me to Whitewater.
Oh yeah, I mean the relationship with your coach is so important, and he's such a nice guy, great coach. I know him, and it's such a successful program. So you guys were close home to Rockford. You could come back and forth, and I know Hunter, you would come back in our shop and go back and forth, and all the school and AJ slaving you in our pro shop and all that. I know you got it worn out a lot of times. But let's shoot up to Mr. Nick, because Nick, you didn't stay close by. You went somewhere in Kansas.
Yeah, it's definitely not the closest school that I could have gone to. I think for me, it's about 10.5-hour drive. I'm going to be a junior this year at Wichita State University in Wichita, Kansas. The Shockers. I guess going off what Brandon and Hunter were saying of that decision making, Brandon's point was like it is so true, and every college advisor is going to tell you that. Every recruiter. I mean, you have to have that fall in love feeling when you walk on the campus for the first time, and everything has to be right. Because there's so many schools out there. I mean, even if you're not a bowler, or there's so many schools out there that can be like your exact fit. Like if it meets 4 out of 5 categories, like there's another school that's going to meet that 5th category. And I'm not saying that everything is like perfect, like at any school, because you have to take some and gain some here and there. But Wichita was the perfect fit for me. I went on one campus visit. Wichita was the only place I ever took a campus visit on before, and I signed pretty early too. I signed the fall of my junior year of high school, so I definitely had a lot of time to get everything ready. Because most people have signed like their senior year, and I did it a little bit more under the radar. I did it my junior year, didn't really see the big deal of the whole the signing thing, but Wichita was perfect for me. They're one of the best programs in the nation. This year was really successful for us. We both the men and the women's team were ranked number 1 in the whole country going into the postseason. Unfortunately, we had our sectionals and nationals revoked due to COVID-19, which was definitely a hit in the stomach for all the collegiate bowlers. Especially, I can feel for all of our, like, we had a couple seniors in our team too that I can feel for that had lost that last year to something they can't control, and that's one of the worst feelings ever. So I definitely feel for them. But we were definitely excited, just like a lot of the other top teams going into our postseason, trying to make a run at the national title. We were confident, definitely a punch in the gut, but we've all kind of not really pushed by it, but we're getting through it now, and we're just ready to get back in action and do it all over again. But yeah, I'd say that I made the perfect choice going to WSU.
Yeah, That's a shame. All three of you guys were in the contention, and you guys too, Brandon and Hunter. You were ready. You were right up there at the top too to get out there and compete, weren't you?
Yeah, we had a good guys, good group of team. Like Nick said, we lost 4 of our seniors so out of our 8, 4 of them were seniors. Feel really bad for them, and they were good seniors. You know, one was a captain of our team, another one was an All-American this year, and the other two just they played their roles. You know, they were a special group. Them 4 were one of my closest friends. So I do feel for them as much as it does sucks for me. At least I do get one more year, but we had a good group, and we were a Baker team. Like, you still know what was going to happen. You know, we still don't have a ITC championship in our history yet. So we won clubs last year, but we were still missing the ITC one, and who knows what happened this year, you know. And then especially then we lose half our varsity guys, so we're gonna have to do a really big rebuild. But just never know what's going to happen this year, especially with them. I do feel for our 4 seniors.
Yeah, I know Sean will bring you guys back. You got such talent, and it'll be a rebound for all of you. Nick, I know too. You had some change when you got out to Wichita. I mean, I've known Gordon Vatican, head coach, for 20 years, and his history there is phenomenal. With I don't know 20 or so national championships, and he retired, right?
Yeah, that was a shock to the bowling community for sure, especially us close to home at Wichita. He had told us that he had planned that was going to be his last season, but he had not mentioned it to us before because he didn't want the kind of like that last tour kind of thing, like gifts at every tournament, condolences here and there. So it was like almost like near the end of the year, like a wrap-up meeting that he had announced that he was retiring, just so that we didn't treat it any differently during the year. Even though I was only able to spend 1 year with Coach V, he's incredible. Obviously, the achievements speak for themselves. So that's incredible. And now we had a transition in coaching. Now Mark Lewis, which was previously the girls' coach for many years, is now the overseer, operations coordinator of Shocker Bowling. He's the coordinator of Shocker Bowling. Like McKendree has this model where they have a overseeing coach and then a men's and women's. Our coach Holly Harris is now the head women's coach, and then a nobody named Rick Steele Smith is now our. He's now our men's coach. He's
oh my gosh! And he's such a great guy, and he was such a fantastic pro and wonderful human being. And what a phenomenal job he's done to come in behind Gordon. And I was really happy to hear that. He's changed your game a little bit too, and you showed me.
Yeah, I was just looking at some videos before and after. Just a mixture between Coach V, Coach L, and Coach Steele Smith. Just night and day. I knew I wanted to go to W2 to get better, and I definitely wasn't at that tier yet my freshman year. Didn't bowl a whole lot for sure. I think I traveled to 1 varsity tournament to bowl like a couple games, I think. But this year was a different story. Traveled a little more this year. Traveled to most of our varsity tournaments, and it felt good to kind of see all that work pay off, because it was definitely a very frustrating time to not like see results, because everyone wants to see results quickly. And mine came a little slower my freshman year, but I mean, it's just a product of having the right group of guys around you. I mean, surrounding yourself with people who are better than you at the time and wanting to beat them just in a casual practice. I mean, we even bowl competitive matches against each other one-on-one. Like we eat, sleep, and breathe bowling 100% of the time, and just being in that atmosphere. And Wichita is a great bowling community. It's kind of hard to be lazy, and people would know too. So it's kind of like everyone's pushing you to get better, even if you don't have the motivation to do it yourself sometimes.
Right. I always tell young guys that are going to go off to college, and my priorities are, you're going to go get there. First thing you're going to do is get your degree, and oh yeah, by the way, we're going to bowl too.
Yep.
So I think that's the thing about it. And you guys recognize that, and you're going to have successful careers as soon as you graduate. And I'll ask you, Brandon, like Nick said, when you go out of high school and you go to college, and you're going to make physical game changes, right? And that's hard to kind of deal with, and you have to go the course. And you too, Hunter, you know how it was. And so you comment on that, Brandon, you know how it works.
Yeah, I look at videos from high school and I look at videos how I'm now, and it blows me away. Nick jokes on them. Where the transition's pretty big. My Hunter knows how bad my freshman year tryout was. Like I kind of like Nick, my freshman year, I traveled one varsity tournament. It's a big process, especially for how much success I had in high school. We're very fortunate for us to have Nick Rummel on our coaching staff, and he's probably one of the best physical game coaches I'll ever meet. You can send him a video, and he'll pick out stuff. I have no idea how he saw it, kind of a thing. He's very good at doing that, and he's helped my game tremendously. Sean's, just as good too. So you need to surround yourself, like Nick said, with bowlers that are better than you, that are good at what they do. Then and we're fortunate to have Kremel and Sean, and it's the process to get better.
Oh God!
My freshman year tryout was not very good.
That's hard to do.
I tried.
Oh boy!
Well,
I want to touch Sean, see how bad I can do a tryout, see if he'd still keep me on the roster or not.
Yeah, I know, and Hunter, you went through a lot of physical game work, and your first go around was kind of a lot of transition too, as a two-hander, wasn't it? I remember you made some great changes.
Yeah, it was pretty rough going into my freshman year because I hadn't bowled in many sport shot tournaments like outside of high school. Yep. We only had the one sport shot tournament a year for our high school season. I didn't really have the opportunity to bowl outside tournaments because I didn't have the funding at the time. So I didn't have a lot of experience on that stuff. And going to tryouts, I just tried to do what I knew, and it ended up working out pretty well in my freshman year tryouts. Made some changes, got a little bit of varsity experience, definitely in my best year at Whitewater. And then I missed the postseason roster by a little bit. At least that's what Sean told me. And then so that got me a little frustrated, because I thought I was there. I thought I was doing all the work, and I was just being stubborn and whatnot. And I realized that I put in a lot of extra work over the summer, going into my sophomore year. Ended up winning tryouts, and then tried to make some more changes, and that did not work at all. It was rough, but
we're rough.
Yeah, I think it's just all about getting the experience, like before you go to college, because I know Mooney and Nick definitely had a lot more experience than I did before going into college. Bowling like the outside, like the ISSTs, the ISYLs, all the stuff that you actually get to bowl on sport and everything. That'll help you a tremendous amount making that transition.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the things that the kids don't see very often either. As far as high school, they end up seeing a lot of the house shots, and then they go to college, and it can be a real big eye opener for some kids if they don't get a chance to see them.
Right.
I
think it's the only problem. Like
for me, I started doing it.
Everything on high school ball in Illinois is on house shot, except for the one sports shot tournament we run and during the high school season. Like Hunter said, if you can, you need to take advantage of the outside stuff. Junior Gold, there's guys that are close to Wisconsin. There's JBSD. There's Patty does a really good job with the ISSTs. It's sometimes it's a big eye opener from guys who had really good high school careers going to college because they never did bowl in sport shot. That's where my parents are able to get me into Junior Gold multiple years, and last didn't help makes my freshman year tryouts aren't very good, but the experience is what it's. You need that experience, even if you're not physically good at it. Still, like just that knowledge helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I remember in Rockford. I can't remember where it was, and you guys were bowling on a sports shot. Maybe you, Brandon and Nick, and I remember you guys. You guys averaged 220, and Hunter, you're up there too. And I remember you guys bowling on a sports shot. And I never forget the look on your guys' faces after the first game or two. You're like, I don't know about this stuff right here. This is pretty rough. I think I need to go practice a little bit more.
But
And it was a pretty rough day, but I know you guys came through it. But you're going to be fine in college. I'm really proud of all of you. But I want to get off of a little your personal game and history just a little bit. Start with you, Hunter. And who was your favorite PBA bowler? And when you were, growing up a little bit or years ago, did you have any guys that you really looked up to? Wouldn't have been that two-hander Belmo, but it may be such a two-hander. But yeah,
it has to be Belmo. I mean, just his style, how he is, how he acts. He's a great guy. I've never met him, but just seeing how he acts, he's a great guy. And his bowling is absolutely. I mean, it's insane what he can do with a bowling ball. There's no one like him that can do what he does.
Yeah, I know a lot of my young students, and I'd be the same way. If I'm a two-hander, obviously I want to be Belmo, and it's such an inspiration for two-handed bowling. And you talk about that at junior gold. You see two-handers about every other pair, right, Brandon? I mean, they're on the way.
Yeah, probably even more than that. Honestly, a lot of the up and coming. I think now since Belmo's been on tour a little while longer now, you're going to see a lot of the incoming college freshmen and a lot of the top guys. It's been a few years. It's now a new norm. While versus Hunters, when Hunter is that age, it was kind of just up and coming. So now with it being a little bit more established, I think you're going to see it a lot more coming in.
And if you ever have the chance to watch some of the younger squads in junior gold, like the U12s, they don't have the U15 anymore, right? They have U17, right?
Yeah, I think it's U12, 15, and 17. They don't have U20 anymore because now 18 is adult.
Mm-hmm. If you look at some of the younger ones on mostly on the men's side, you would definitely see if you look from 6 years ago to now, I'd say there's probably like a 70% increase in the amount of two-handed bowlers there are. I mean, that's just the first thing kids are doing. They're just seeing like Belmo is the guy, and they're like, I want to do that. Like Hunter, you were saying, like these younger kids, and they're getting younger and younger too. Like when I
see more guys like Simo and Osku are starting to have good careers again too. It's not just Belmo is still kind of the top guy, but you got guys like Simo and Osku all of a sudden just came out of nowhere, having a really good year this year too, and they're just seeing more of them now. It's more than just Belmo now too.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's not Belmo, what a chance of Simo won the week, or same with Osku. Osku's made quite a few shows this year, and
Kyle Troop as well.
Yeah, Kyle Troop. He won a couple titles this year already too, and
Afrofish.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna become it's not up and coming anymore. It's kind of getting a new norm. So as Nick said, you're gonna see it a lot more in the younger guys.
Yeah, I always tell people too, and AJ knows this. My dream team of 5 is to have 5 girl two-handers. We'll see that one day, maybe.
Wow.
And you gotta have 2 lefties, right, Brandon?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Brandon, who's your favorite? Who was your favorite bowler when you were a little guy coming up?
I think it's just being the left-handed guy, but I liked Rhino Page a lot. I liked his game.
Oh yeah.
Just down around when I was younger, he was kind of getting out on tour, and now I'm pretty good friends with Jacob Buttriff now. So I pull for him. Kind of same thing, lefty card, but no one's really going to bowl like him ever. I don't think so. As we're all trying to replicate Belmo, I don't think we all should try to replicate Jacob here, but.
Broken hands.
Ryan growing up, and I became good friends with Buttriff over the last year or so. So I pull for him a lot too now. And they're all good guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know. Back in 99 or 2000, when I was coaching Junior Team USA, I had Rhino on the team, and we knew from the days that he was winning gold medals for us that he was going to be a big star on the tour. And he went through an injury, but he's a great kid. He's not a kid anymore, but he's such a great player.
Yeah, I like his game a lot. It's pretty simple. Like I said, he was just maybe it was just a lefty card growing up, but I liked watching him a lot growing up.
Man, he worked his butt off to get to the shows. Like he was rabbit squad after rabbit squad his first little bit, and I just he was the guy to watch. He was Wichita guy too, wasn't he? At one point.
I don't think so.
Did you say that?
I don't think Rhino was, no.
Maybe just
okay, Nick. I don't know. I can't remember where Rhino went, but here and again, he's just had a great career on tour, and he's going to win some more titles, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Nick, who did you like when you were a kid?
My favorite bowler was like hands down Chris Barnes. He was just like the godsend for me when I was a kid. I just really liked his like versatility, and like I really enjoyed him. Like it almost like as a kid, I'm like, this is like these are like 5 different bowlers in one guy. Like the amount of things that he can do, and I actually had a chance to like he came down to one of our practices, down at WSU, and he's an alum of WSU. Back when he had some a little bit longer hair back then, but he's been
The mullet.
yeah, he's been my guy.
Yep.
I really like Chris. He was a big influence on like my work ethic, like the way that he goes about doing it. But I think I'd get in trouble saying Chris is my favorite, so I'm gonna say Rick Steele-Smith is my favorite. For sure, 100%, no doubt about it. Hopefully that'll get me some more playing time this year, Coach.
Well, that's okay because they're both alumni, so you're cool. You're all right. So
Yeah. But yeah,
that's
one of the inspirations when I was a kid, for sure.
one of my favorite days of all time is when I had the original Kegel Training Center. Chris was there, and he spent quite a while in the training center, and they had a lot of great video. And I was just like, wow, this is just really a dream to see such, like you said, versatility. And a lot of players on tour have great versatility, but he was really a master at it too, and in his style, and always he still is just a great player. Absolutely. AJ, you want to throw something out at him? I've got a couple more.
Actually, just since we have a brief moment in between questions, the questions that we bring to you every week are usually brought by a certain company, and this one is Cool Wick today. So anybody that is looking for a good jersey, head over to Cool Wick and pick one up today. They have a lot of really good selections to choose from, and basically you can get a lot of things like quick ships where they have jerseys that are already made up that they'll send out right away. And then you can do your own designs and stuff like that. And of course you can get the masks that some of us have been wearing. I wear quite a bit around town and stuff like that. Even back here at the house doing mowing, which I hate mowing, but you can wear mask bandanas and stuff like that. But definitely go get something from Cool Wick today.
Great. Hunter, start off with you first on this question. I know you guys bowl all the time, except for here lately, the last couple of months. What are some of your hobbies besides bowling? What do you like to do?
I like to go to the gym. If I had a bad day at bowling, I'll go to the gym. It clears my head. If I'm struggling with some homework, I go to the gym. It clears my head. I mean, I started going my sophomore year, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And it's another thing that I can't really do right now because that's closed. But I've been doing as much as I can at home with the household objects and whatnot.
Yeah, that's great. I remember you were really buffing up this last summer. You really are looking great. Not that you always did.
Thanks, man. Can't wait to get back. I got to get rid of this quarantine weight.
Oh yeah. I understand that. What do you like to do when you're not bowling, Brandon? What are you up to? You got your, of course, you got your girlfriend that keeps you busy.
Yeah, she does. And as you know, I like to golf. We've gone a few times. I've played probably a lot more now. Really, once they opened, I took advantage of that just to get outside out of the house and something I enjoy to do. And then I like to play softball too, slow pitch softball. I did play baseball growing up, so softball's starting to start back up again as the states start opening up again. So golf and softball mainly. Nice, and Bridget keeps me busy too with her projects and stuff. They've been doing a lot of home projects, so.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a hobby or not, but I remember if you played golf, you got a really good career if you would want to play golf, because you outdrove me by 50 yards when we played, but that's been hard to do.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to get my money's worth though, and I like to get my 10s and 11s in the holes just so you're making sure you're getting what you pay for.
That's about what I get.
Oh, you see all the grass. You see where every grass is.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Hey, I like this tree. This tree's
Well-
fun.
Yeah, let's go explore the course a little bit. You know, that tree over there, and oh, that tree looks nice over there too. Let's go find that one.
It's like scavenger.
Yeah.
You get to see yourself present for the next time you go.
Sure. Well, I know for sure being around Nick a lot, he's got a lot of things that he would do. What do you got going on, Nick? I know when you're not bowling, what's cool for you?
So when I'm not bowling, a lot of people can attest to. I literally do almost everything under the sun. My dad calls me a Swiss Army knife because I just take on too many hobbies. I just go from thing to thing, and I just get obsessed with it, and I just want to do it until I'm like really, really good, and then I find this new thing, and I'll do it for that. It's kind of a bad habit to just keep getting these hobbies because I don't have enough time in the day to do it. But I guess if I had to label it down to a couple things, is I like to be outside a lot. Anything that has to do with being outside, like I like to disc golf a bunch. I wasn't very coordinated at the whole golf thing, so I had to do something that was a little easier for me. But I really enjoy. I honestly really do enjoy school. I enjoy just academics and stuff like that. But I just like putting my time into the family business as much as I can. I like helping my dad out with the different marketing things, trying to be creative, do stuff like that. It kind of runs in my blood. I like to do different entrepreneurial things whenever I have the chance to. But I'm helping my dad a lot with the bowling centers, giving him ideas, just trying to learn every single part of the business because hoping to help out more as I get older.
Yeah. I remember in the last 3 or 4 years, every time I'd see you in the summer, you're doing something different. I said, you just got through doing something else. You got through doing something else. So you're going to try something all the time, which was really great. And I got to touch on something too for Nick. People out there in the bowling world and pro bowling, men's and women's tour, Nick Summer. Now, your grandpa, tell us a little bit about him. Whenever I came to Rockford, I knew who Mr. John Summer was.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my biggest superheroes in bowling, and just like he did a little stuff with the women's tour back in the day. He was one of the co-founders of the PWBA, and I love hearing stories from him about that. He was one of the top pushers of high school bowling. He got a lot of high school bowling programs started, had them recognized as an official sport. He had these bowling centers. He does a lot of stuff for Bowl for Kids. He's about, you cannot not like him. One of the things that he's really passionate about is we're the national distributor of bowling kits, and a lot of these go to schools, and he makes a precedent to send these bowling kits overseas as well to our troops, which is just incredible. His list of accomplishments in the bowling world, maybe not as a player, but as an ambassador, a bowling proprietor, and just an overall just recognizable person in the sport, is unmatched. And seeing all these people that he's made connections with over the years and looking back, it's definitely something that I want to attest to be. He's been a real role model for me, and I love him. Yeah. So he's an awesome guy.
Yeah. John is really an icon for our industry and everything that he's done for youth bowling. And you guys are so fortunate to grow up in the environment of Rockford, to millions of dollars of scholarship money that he's put into your program. So I'm very fortunate to be here in Rockford too, to be around all you great kids.
Absolutely.
Okay. One more go here, AJ. One more question.
One last question.
Last question. All right, let's go, Hunter. 300 games. How many you got? You got 5, right?
No. I only have 3 that are sanctioned. So.
Okay, well you had more than I did.
You have one that stands out pretty good though.
What was that?
Don't you have one that stands out pretty good where you had to throw like 2 different balls or something? I don't remember.
Yeah, my first ever 300, which was at the top 16 for the Nick 10, where I was throwing a pitch black on the right lane and a timeless on the left lane because I didn't getting in front of the ball returns at Carter's is torture. So I did not want to do that. So I went that route, and that was my first 300, pitch black and timeless.
Wow. That's amazing. That's an amazing story. Brandon, you got a few.
Yeah, I hate to be that guy, but I've lost count. I need to go back and kind of get a true number. I know I'm over 30. I think I'm at like 32 if I'm taking my best guess.
You're too young to forget what number at 30.
I know,
Like, if you get to the hundreds, maybe I could understand. But.
Yeah, I stopped filling out the forms. And I never really turned them in, so I can't even go on Bowl. I think there's only like 9 of them on Bowl.com. So I need to go back to all my Facebook posts and count them all.
Yeah.
I do have the one that stands out. I like though is at the Ebonite Classic last September. I threw one in match play against Kyle Kroll, and he had 279 going through 8, so I needed all of them. And then I have 3 that stand out. One of them was against an all-time great Dan Winter, King of the Hill. We both went front 9. I had finished it off, and he had to finish. He had the first one, then he packed a 7-pin. So I beat him 300 to 289 at King of the Hill. And then the next week, I was bowling a NIST tournament back when they were a thing, and Josh Roth had 290 against me, but I had 300 against him in the NIST TOC. So I've had my good matches where guys gave me. I don't know if I shoot them if they're not stringing against me. Kind of a thing that makes you keep going. So,
Right.
If you miss, then they're up on you, even though you just went front 8. So I don't know, maybe just the competition drive helped me finish those off, but those are probably my 3 memorable ones. But I'm over 30. I think I'm at 32, 33 if I had to take a guess.
Nice.
Isn't that something, AJ, at their young age, they can't even remember? Oh, my gosh.
Wait till you get to our age.
I know.
Wait till you get to coach's age, I guess. I don't know.
Well, look out. Well,
Yeah.
I got 5. I got 5. I can count that many. So anyway, that's all right. All right.
I'll say 30-something. That's
All right. How many, Nick? How many you got, Nick?
think I
What's your
have at
favorite
least-
one?
I think I have at least 500. I would say that was probably
Yes,
I'd say my most memorable one of the 500 was probably my freshman year of high school for sure. Sorry.
That's so funny.
But I think I have maybe 8 or 9. Now I don't bowl on house shot as much as I do anymore as I used to, but I did have a 300 recently, and it was definitely I had a dry spell of not having a 300 for a while, and I was losing to the Brandon train down there, so I had to get one back on them real quick.
There you
Yeah.
There you go.
But, yeah, 300 games definitely really cool. My first one was my freshman year, and the first one's always the most memorable for most people. Mine was I threw the last ball. My dad / coach had picked me up, and I don't know how he did it, but I was above his head. It was incredible.
Vernon Hills, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at one of the Brunswick zones. It was, oh my gosh.
The Orange Eruption Pro.
Yep, that ball. Oh my gosh. And the good thing about my dad is whenever anyone on our team had a good game with any ball, all of us all had 3 of them the next day.
Of course. Of course. I would definitely see that come out of our shop with Will, Dole coming out with these balls that you guys just shot these great scores with. Well, that's great, guys. Well, none of you have as much as Mike Dole. I don't know if you ever will. Maybe you will, but you never can.
Hey, he's semi-retired now. He's working too much, so we're trying to catch up.
I know, right?
Probably still never
Crazy.
will, but he's giving us some of a chance. He's semi-retired at the moment.
Mike still got some time
Yeah.
to catch up to me, so he's still got a couple more days. Oh, you're right.
That's right.
Yeah.
You'd think it would be easier,
Well,
right? He's on the left side. Come on.
Good
Yeah.
day.
The website's wrong.
Yeah. Slope the other way, make it a little harder.
we love Dole. He's our guy. Mike Dole, he's our guy for Rockford.
I still
But,
can't beat him in match play. Man's probably averaging like 280 against me in match play.
Oh my god. You almost needed that for some of the stuff, like even around here for like say King of the Hills. I used to remember watching him fry out, getting beat by somebody by like 2 pens and throw the bowling bag that he had
Yeah.
all the way across from the door to like the rack that he has in the shop.
Yeah.
Like,
My
oh, he must have loved
little story is I bowled him in a King of the Hill. I go 9 spare to start the game. He looks at me. He goes, "You just lost," and I sheeted for 279 and lost because he shot 300.
It's funny. Oh man, this has been fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I had a good
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for doing it. We I know it was last minute for all of you guys pretty much, and in fact I think today was the notification for all 3 of you of, hey, can you do it? So,
not much else to
cool.
do at the moment, so
Yeah.
Fine by me.
Yeah.
We all got a little access of free time at the moment.
yep.
It was a fun show. Lots of laughter. It's good to talk to you guys and see you guys again. So
Yeah, had a good
thanks for
time.
doing
Yeah, same here.
Looking forward to seeing you guys in person soon. So
it. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely there.
end of the month or so.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys.
Okay,
I
guys.
think that's it.
Thank
All
you, Ian.
Stay safe out there.
Yeah,
We're going to open up at the end of the month. I think the 26th, we're going to get pretty close to getting back out on the lanes. I know you, Brandon, you're out and about, but let's just be safe out there, okay?
Yep, you guys too.
Yeah, you guys
see you
too,
later. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
guys.
That was fun.
Yeah, the kids are great. I know just fortunately to spend some time on the lanes with all 3 of them, it's been a real honor to, as a coach, you know that you like to see all your students be successful, and not only in bowling, but in life. And I think they're on their way to really have the future that we want them to have. And I know a couple of them may want to go on the pro tour, and that's great. They all 3 may not to, or just pursue their careers. But we're really, I know, and you've done a lot of ball drilling and coaching with them too. So they're one of our top 3 kids in Rockford.
Yeah, we it's good to see those that you're a part of grow in the sport and see where they go. I think their future is pretty bright, no matter how they go, as far as whether it's bowling or if it's their career. But it's fun to see them grow up and get better in general, I think, overall. So a lot of fun to be able to see and chat with them today, and hope everybody enjoyed it as much as we did. And we look forward to seeing everybody again for sure next Tuesday, Coach. This Friday is probably going to be off the table, I think, because we don't have anybody currently. And I think we have a scheduling conflict for both of us really anyway for us to do it like normal. So we'll come back again next Tuesday and Friday. I'm just going to give them all a heads up now. Tuesday, we have the legendary Liz Johnson joining us. I'm sorry for Ron Bragg to follow her up, but Ron will be our next guest on Friday next week. So, but Ron's a big part of Brunswick, and we love to hear from Ron on how things are going and how he's doing, and obviously all the things that are going on now currently too. On top of that, probably wouldn't be such a bad thing to just chat and see how things are and check in. So we look forward to seeing Liz.
Absolutely.
So we'll talk to everybody soon, and thanks again. See ya.
See ya.